Everybody, Eric Mashinsky, your editor at the Gold Investment Letter. I'm going to give a briefing on video for all of our e-letter subscribers. Apologies for not being a little busier recently with updates on things. I will have more particular company updates coming at you next week for our free members. We've been very active in elite and premium, and hopefully there are some of you. I'd love to hear from those of you that actually participated in what ended up being basically a 60 bagger for us in a company that's called Soul Strategies now, HODL in the Canadian markets, was called Cypherpunk, CYFRF in the US markets, that I've recommended here in the free list, over the last couple of years, near a dime to 15 cents Canadian. That went to $6 in a few months. And we have a lot of people that have become millionaires from that one. It's in crypto though. So I don't like to recommend too much here in that vein. So if you did benefit there, I would encourage you to join us, where you can have more action with this stuff in premium at a minimum. And if you want deal flow with regard to what I'm investing in, and if there are companies that we can get warrants, if you're an accredited individual or a family office or a fund, get on the elite list. We've got a few slots open. That's really the service that, is for the bigger, longer term type of folks that want to kill it in the mining space, because the deal flow we get is very, very interesting and good. And so anyway, and there's a lot more alerts with regard to what we're covering. There's a venture capital venture list that for the juniors that we hold certain positions that I update what to buy it up to, how much of the company that I own personally. Those are really good things to keep a track of, if you wanted to get serious. But in any event, I just wanted to make some comments on gold, number one, because I'm actually here, where I live in the winter in Miami. But there's a crypto conference, Real Vision, which a lot of you have seen me on and interviewed, like Rob McEwen, Rick Rule, things like that. So I'm at this crypto conference, and 2 weeks ago, I was actually at a pre-inauguration party for the special operations folks that are friends of mine in DC. And I can just tell you all that, I mean, this is actually a little bit on the side of gold, but gold should lead the way. Gold looks great. It just broke out here again and is going higher. I think gold is going to have a good year this year. This breakout that we just saw, we should see the next resistance around that 3,000 level, but it looks great. I don't expect a monstrous year out of gold, but I expect a positive year, and one that could actually chug along nicely all year long, or at least from summer until year end, we could see an accelerated move. Now, that presents some serious opportunities in the gold exploration companies that are still trading in the gutter, that are surviving and have great properties, but have been undercapitalized. But what I wanted to mention is that I know now that not only people in the government in the United States, but also private money that's in tech and crypto are starting to and have started to wake up to the problems that we face as it pertains to, in particular, critical metals, critical minerals like vanadium, antimony, graphite, tungsten, things that we need for our everyday national defense and security and energy. We've been cut off by China, who's basically got us by the you-know-whats. And I'm encouraged because even the tech people that are in crypto have started to try to look at, well, if we're going to have all this this demand of energy usage driven higher by the AI and data boom and race, do we have enough resources, or is this grid at risk? And that's where it seems like people know there are constraints. So then one thing leads to another. And I'm just going to say that I am convinced. And listen, you guys, I've been here for a while. Some of you have been here with me for a while. We look to make some big gains in things in any type of a market environment, and usually haven't had, too long of droughts even in bad bear markets. I think the last bear market, which started in August of 2020, was the longest drought that we didn't have like a 10 bagger for a while. But we now broke that quite handily from a couple of the plays that we've owned and have a number of, 4Xs, 6Xs, 7Xs in premium and elite. So we broke that trend. And, but anyway, I just say to myself, God forbid we ever have a real bull market where the world at large starts to say, I need exposure in metals, in commodities, in critical minerals, in rare earth metals, in silver. For the demand that we're seeing, 25% last year of all the silver out of the ground went right into solar panels. That's going to continue to grow. And there's not a lot in the pipeline when it comes to new supply in mines. So we are going to, and a lot of us, you get tired in this space and wonder if we're crazy. Why are we even in it? But I'm in everything in the sense of I've had the biggest success recently in crypto and tech because I do invest there. Now, you have three different options here, just so you know. I do write a letter with periodic recommendations called eliteinvestments.com. That's free for now, and you can get those, which is mostly New York Stock Exchange and other listed company type of trades. We've done great on quantum computing stuff, AI plays, things of that nature. Then you have phenomcrypto.com, which is my crypto letter that you can also join for free, or premium gets serious in terms of building a portfolio in crypto. And we just had a 14 bagger in that, even in the pullback in crypto. In one of our little ones, we had another one that was up 6X, another 4X, a few triples. I mean, just since August. So I'm not looking at things like from a place of despair, like I have all of my money in miners that are all down. And there are some of our mining companies that I've recommended that I don't know if I mentioned Focus Mining FKM here before, but we got into that deal about 15 months ago at 4 cents, which is now at 16. So there have been some successes. And one of the companies that I'll just mention now is that's in a tremendous position, and the stock is way down from its recent highs, is Phenom Resources, PHNM in Vancouver Exchange, and PHNMF in the US. We're actually right now taking some of the final orders on a modest private placement, but there are 4 world-class gold exploration projects in that company and 3 extremely unique and valuable vanadium pieces to the story, not only with the largest, highest grade vanadium resource in North America at Carlin, but a stake in a Japanese company that we believe is going to be valued at a couple few $100 million. We have a 5% stake in that. They've got a really exciting breakthrough in vanadium solid state batteries that we will be able to tag along with and benefit from. And then some of the news you've all seen recently about processing petroleum coke ash and some of the patents that the company has filed over the years, I believe, is going to create serious value. We're looking at ways to get some of those things funded partially by the U.S. government entities, and I feel like sooner or later we're going to get that because vanadium is a critical mineral, and we're screwed on it. And so at some point it will make sense where Phenom Resources, if you own that stock, it will be split into 2 companies and you will get credited and have positions in both, like Phenom Gold, Phenom Vanadium. This is my biggest position yet. I'm putting more money into the private placement. I'm buying more stock right now in the open market steadily, and I will go up to a 9.9% position. So I just wanted to let some of you know if you're frustrated or whatever with Phenom because it's been trading like crap lately. Hey, I think it's an opportunity. Anytime it's come down like to anywhere near these levels, and I've felt good about it within a month or two, typically. But there's just a lot of really encouraging things going on that I'm feeling more of a groundswell versus that, say, a hope that people are going to start investing in mining companies. I also wanted to mention that one of our picks, which has this very promising antimony asset in Idaho, antimony and silver, gold, antimony in Idaho is Metallis, MTS in Canada, MTLFF. in the US, it's like 20 cents Canadian. It just came down from like 36 cents. It's at the low end of its range. And that deal is extremely exciting because antimony is probably the most critical mineral in my view. It's certainly up there because you need that mineral for virtually anything to do with war. They call it the military metal and munitions. And China cut us off. They literally cut us off. And so a company that's on the NYSE and the Toronto Stock Exchange, Perpetual Resources, has a 5 million ounce gold deposit with a low grade but large antimony byproduct. They've received 1.8 billion in various funding from government agencies, including the Pentagon, for a $60 million grant just to expedite permitting. The state of Idaho just put a speed act into place, which is going to cut the red tape for permitting in Idaho. Metallis is only 21 miles away from this other entity that is trading about at $1 billion Canadian valuation. It's obviously a lot earlier than that, but Metallis is like sub 15 million market cap. It's incredible with what they've already put out. I would encourage some of you that are interested in digging into that situation. Look at what they found in the last two field programs. So they're gonna have to raise a little bit more money probably between now and April, which we are planning on. I don't think it'll be done any cheaper than where the market is now. And that's going to have a 10 to maybe 15 hole drill program that'll kick off in May or June uh, after the weather eases and everything else. And I think, because that's a private property, they really don't need permits. I think they'll just have to say that they put out notices. But that's not going to be a problem. They have their own water rights. A lot of really small things are in place in that deal. So listen, if they come back with some of these massive high grade silver, gold, antimony intercepts, I think that stock is going to be, it's got the potential to go into the dollars per share, certainly, and attract, which I've already had a call with four government US agencies and the CEO of that company to put this on their radar. And I will continue as I talk with some of the folks that I know in DC. This is a new area for me, but I'm trying to help educate some of them to the best of my ability about how important of an issue this is. And then I just give them full disclosure, like, look, I've got a position here, but this is an early stage antimony play. This is a vanadium deal. This is this, this is that. And then introducing them to look at whatever they want. And then we'll see what shakes out with how much money is granted, what is loaned, perhaps, even two big things that could come out of this new administration is cutting of red tape for any permitting process in the whole country. Even in Nevada, we have some red tape these days with regard to drilling, like our Dobbin project at Phenom is going to take some time. It shouldn't. Um, if we get that done, which is really being discussed on the highest level in DC, I can tell you that right now, to bring in capital and perhaps something to the effect of like a tax break or a tax capital gains tax moratorium on private individuals that decide to invest in our mining sector. These are the type of dialogues that we're going to be having and that are happening already in Washington. And some of the special forces that I work with on the nonprofit side, they're the tip of the spear. And we're very deep into learning about these things and they're very concerned about it. And those folks are the ones that have the White House's ear. And so some things could happen from my involvement, I hope. If it doesn't, I still think the chances of things opening up for mining here is going to happen soon, and people are going to start to wake up to the restraints we have. So don't give up just yet in your mining companies and stocks. Gold looks great. Silver looks fantastic. I think silver does outperform gold in 2025. Those are our main, plays and metals. I love some of the special situations we have, and I'll just reiterate, the Phenom and Metallis are two that are high on my list. They're both on big pullbacks right now, and I would encourage our readers to take a close look and, if you see fit, accumulate here. You don't want to be selling these things when they're down on no volume. Excuse me. And just before various drill programs and coming out of a mining bear market of 4 years plus, you don't want to do that. We relearned this lesson, by the way, with the Soul Strategy cypherpunk situation that I've been recommending for 2.5 years. And unfortunately, but also fortunately, when I circled back after that stock went up 20x out of nowhere, from August until October, it went up like 25 times. And it ended up being up from my cost average about 58x when it went to $6 Canadian recently. It's still just under 5 Canadian. But I called some of the old school, diehard elite members and premium members that I know had owned it and said, "How are you doing? This could flip your whole portfolio around and make everything right." And sure enough, a certain percentage of people said, "I didn't have it anymore. I gave up. I sold it. I sold that last year to do this or to do that." Sometimes it's worth it to stick this stuff out. Not with every one of these companies. Some of them they turn into dogs, and it's better to take your losses, especially when you need them, when you've got a good year. But look, we're in these speculative plays to either make big returns or, we've seen the loss side of this, obviously, the last few years. But we will get a bull market in metals and minerals and mining stocks, a real one at some point. And I think all of us have brought our expectations back. And I've gotten bullish a little prematurely in terms of what I thought was going to be sustainable with a bull run. I tend to feel when we're about to go, and I'll talk about it, but then we've had the fades after that, especially with the small and mid-sized plays. But I'm really heartened that a lot of particular deals are going to start flying in the face of, even if it's a sideways market in the miners on the small and medium cap side of things, if you've got certain situations. And then at some point, we're going to get a bid from around the world that's going to come into a very small space. And you want to be positioned for that and just be patient, because how high some of these things can go, it is extraordinary. I mean, if any of you have had a 50 or 100 bagger, or a 20 bagger, even a handful of 10 baggers, that's why we do this. And you can have half of your picks go to nothing. And it doesn't matter. You have world-class returns, even if it took you 5 years to start harvesting those gains in the few that are the big winners. So keep that in mind. And that's it for today, guys. Have a great weekend.